Can we just take a moment to appreciate how freaking beautiful it is? It is perfectly tender. Skin is so glossy. Hi guys, welcome back to my home kitchen, and today we are making some homemade ramen from scratch. We're not making the noodles, but we're making everything else from scratch. The dashi, which is a very gentle seafoody based broth, very light. Tare, which is called the soul of ramen because it's basically a very flavored soy sauce. We're gonna be marinating and slow cooking some pork belly into that tare so that it's extra flavorful and a little bit fatty for that richness. We're gonna be making some marinated eggs, nitamago, and it's gonna be so perfectly boiled. It's like that midway point between a soft-boiled egg and a medium-boiled egg, where the egg is just luscious. We're gonna be marinating that soft-boiled, medium-boiled egg in that tare sauce, and it's gonna be flavor on top of flavor on top of flavor, and as if that were not enough flavor for you, we're gonna be making a spicy chili oil that's totally optional, but if you like spice, it's not optional because it's one of the easiest homemade chili oils you can possibly ever make. Perfect condiment to the perfect bowl of ramen. Okay, so let's talk ingredients for a sec. For the dashi, very simply, you're gonna be needing some chicken broth, some bonito flakes, dried shiitake mushrooms, and kombu. These are all very traditionally Japanese ingredients to put into ramen. If you don't have any specific ingredient in this bunch, don't worry about it right now. Just carry forth with what you have. For the dashi, super simple. You're going to be bringing the chicken broth up to a simmer in a pot. Once it's up to a simmer, you're going to take it off the heat, let it cool for 2 minutes, and then you're going to slide in the mushrooms and the kombu. Once the kombu and the mushrooms are in for about 5 minutes, you're going to slide in the bonito flakes. Steep for 5 additional minutes. We're staggering the flavors in this way so that all of these very pungent aromatic ingredients don't leach too much flavor into the broth. We still want to keep it a very clean tasting broth. Even though it's flavorful, we just don't want it to be overly flavorful. There is such a thing as overly flavorful. Strain everything out and reserve all the solids so that we can use it in our later components for the ramen later. Okay, so now we've made our dashi, and we're just gonna set it aside and let it cool down. We're gonna set this aside. This is all of our strained out mushrooms and bonito flakes and kombu. And we're gonna move on to making our tare and our pork belly. My favorite part. No, actually I lied. My favorite part is the eggs. Stay tuned for the eggs. The tare has a lot of components in it because it's a very well seasoned soy sauce base. So we're gonna be using soy sauce, sake, kind of rice wine, mirin, which is kind of like a byproduct of sake making. It's more sugary, not as alcoholic, still packs a very fragrant flavor. That fragrance that comes from mirin and sake, you really can't beat. If you don't have those two things, you can definitely use sherry or any kind of fragrant alcohol, or just leave it out. You don't need it. Just add a little bit more water to tone down the soy sauce's sodium content, and substitute in a little bit more sugar. Go with a little more brown sugar so that you get more molassesy flavor, or honey. Honey could be good too. We're going to blanch our pork belly right now. This recipe calls for 1 pound of pork belly, which is about this amount, but I bought more because I was greedy and I was like, if I'm making ramen, I might as well make more anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and blanch all 2 pounds of pork belly that I have. So very quickly going to put the pork into the pot and just fill it up with water. About 6 cups depending on your pot, depending on how much meat you're putting in. Just enough to cover, and then we're going to bring it up to a simmer and drain the water immediately. The point of this process is not to really cook the meat. We're not trying to cook the meat at all. We're just getting rid of some of the not so fresh, not so great tasting parts. I think we're ready to take this off the heat, drain it, and give the meat a quick little rinse. I can see that all parts of the meat is visibly opaque. That's a good sign. No more redness. That means that it's been successfully blanched, at least on the outside. So quickly turn that heat off. Let's drain it. Okay guys, we're gonna make our tare and chashu now. Heat on medium. We're gonna go in with our soy sauce. I'm using low sodium soy sauce here because we have a lot of sodium going in. We got our 1.25 cups of mirin, sake, or just more mirin if you don't have it. Then we have our water. Granulated sugar, brown sugar, break it up a little bit. We got our ginger slices. We got our crushed garlic. And we got our nice green onions. And we're just gonna wait for that to come up to a simmer. Smells pretty potent. All right, once we have this simmer going, we're just gonna turn our heat to low and we're gonna plop in our pork and we're going to cover the pan or the pot and we're going to let it go for about 1 hour and 20 minutes until the pork is completely tender. We're going to cook this meat as slowly and gently as possible so that the meat is going to stay tender and truly, truly, truly melt in your mouth good. Buttery, buttery pork belly goodness. Really a perfect fit. So once the meat starts cooking, it will start shrinking a little bit. We'll just check back occasionally on its progress and we'll give them a little turn. Make sure that it's all cooking evenly. And yes, I don't have a huge kitchen, so I store all of my pots and lids in my oven. That's where they live. Just make sure that this is the kind of simmering that you're getting. Very low, gentle simmer. Nothing too viciously bubbly or anything like that. All right, we are just at the halfway point here. Actually, it's maybe been about 35 minutes. I'm gonna check up on it. It smells so good right now, just filled with that delicious porky flavor. It looks so nice and tender right now. That skin is nice and glossy right now, and it's just, I can already taste it. Just giving them a flip. You can see that one side has captured more sauce and is a little bit darker in color than the other one. We're just gonna go ahead and give them all a flip. Folks, the moment has arrived. It's been 1 hour and 25 minutes. I can smell it, I can feel it. I think we are ready for the unveiling of this chashu. Can we just take a moment to appreciate how freaking beautiful it is? It is perfectly tender. Skin is so glossy. I just want to test the tenderness of it. I'm pretty sure it is super tender, but I have a cake tester, which, word to the wise, is not actually that great for testing cakes because you stick it in, and because of the sleek metal tester, no crumbs actually ever really cling to it unless it's super, super underdone batter. But cake testers, fantastic for testing meat. We're just gonna stick it into our pork belly and see how tender it is, so. Oh man, that slid in with no resistance whatsoever. Even the piece that's super lean and with bone attached is sliding in like it's just pure butter. So I think we're ready to pull. We're going to remove the pork from the liquid when it's a little bit easier to handle, when it's not so hot. And then we're gonna reserve the liquid for our eggs and our ramen, and we're gonna reserve the pork and let it cool completely before we slice into it. And in the meantime, we're gonna make our nitamago, which is basically a seasoned soft-boiled egg. I like mine somewhere between soft and medium boiled, where it's like a little bit runny in the middle and the outside of the yolk is just barely set into this almost gel-like texture. And we're rolling at a boil. Gentle. We're gonna set that timer for 6.5. Just boiling some eggs. Real exciting stuff here. Timer's going off. It's time. We turn off the heat. We shuffle on over to the sink. And I'll just let them sit in there for about 5 minutes before I start tapping them against each other to crack them. What I like to do is to take 2 eggs and I just knock them against each other and the weaker one will break. This one. Well, this egg is a true champion, but I'm still gonna break it anyway. And then once they're thoroughly cracked, I just cover them with cold water again and let them chill for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'll peel them. Okay guys, so we are ready to do our final step for day 1 with peeling our eggs and taking our meat out of the tare solution and marinating our eggs in the tare solution. So first things first, we're gonna peel the eggs. I'm gonna drain the water. And hopefully these will peel really, really well. Pretty smooth. Next up, we're just going to take out all the part from the broth. Just be real gentle with your tongs because it is very, very tender meat right now. I'll probably put it in the fridge overnight so that it gets completely cool for a completely clean slice. We're just gonna strain the liquid from all the solids. So we have the eggs in a bowl. We have our cooled tare. We are going to cover the eggs with the tare, about 2 to 2.5 cups worth of it. And then we're going to take our kombu. This is from our dashi process earlier. And we're just gonna use it as a cover to weigh down the eggs. Like this. And then we're just gonna let this sit in the fridge for about 4 to 12 hours until they're marinated and they take on a soy saucy color on the outside. And then we're just gonna put everything else in the fridge and check back tomorrow to finish the entire bowl of ramen. Hi guys, welcome back to day 2 of making our homemade ramen. I am so ready to eat this bowl of ramen. There's only one last component for us to make before we can assemble our bowl, and that's the chili oil, the layu. It is basically a garlic confit, red pepper flake oil concoction that is going to be pretty divine, especially for those of you who like your spicy condiments. This is the ultimate spicy condiment you can make at home. Let's make some spicy chili oil. Grab a tiny pot. Set it to low heat. We're gonna pour in our oil with our mountain of garlic. Just going to swish the garlic around with the oil to make sure that everything is nicely coated together. It's starting to simmer. And once you see that kind of simmering action happening, we wanna just keep a close eye on it. We wanna keep the heat as low as possible. It's a very zen process. There's some golden bits coming into play now. There we go. Oh yeah. I just took it off the heat. No flames. It's still gonna cook.
swirl it, and let it sit for 2 minutes until the oil is nice and red. We want it completely saturated with both that flavor and that color. The carryover heat level is going to help all the aromas and the spiciness of the chili flakes release into the oil. All right, 2 minutes have passed and you can see that the oil is very red, that nice orangey golden color. We're ready for our sesame seeds to go in. And we're just gonna let it cool on its own until it's ready to be used. Once it's completely cool, you can store this in a jar for up to 2 weeks. Final stretch, guys, final stretch. So we have the tare, which is now fully up to a boil. I will turn that off. We have the dashi, which is our broth foundation. We're gonna have our noodles. We have our fantastic chili oil. Look at that color, my goodness. And we have our marinated eggs. Let me try not to spill. And we have our fantastic fatty pieces of pork belly that we're gonna slice up. Maybe char it a little bit. I don't know. You feel up to it? I feel up to it. Any day with a fire is a great day in my book, so time to eat. Okie doke, my noodles are in. We're just gonna let them go for about 1.5 to 2 minutes until they feel nicely buoyant and al dente. Okay, it's been about 2 minutes. I'm about to fish the noodles out. I'm setting up a strainer situation here so that we can sling all the noodles out from the water so that they don't get waterlogged. There we go. And then I'm just gonna lift the colander and slam it back down with the noodles inside and get all the water out. This is fun. Okay, let's assemble our noodles. We have our ramen. It took 2 days, but it is beautiful. I hope you agree that this is delicious. If you've made it, let me know down below how you liked it. I'm really hungry. I haven't eaten all day, so I'm excited to dig into this. I think it's gonna be friggin' delicious. I know it's gonna be friggin' delicious. Look at that fatty pork, nicely charred. Look at this nicely soft medium boiled egg with that jelly center of a yolk. Nice springy noodles with some nice fragrant shiitake mushrooms for extra chew and extra meatiness. And our spicy chili oil with that delicious garlic aroma all infused inside it. And our dashi broth. Oh my god. I'm just gonna eat my dinner, my lunch dinner here.